Okay, joining us live now is law enforcement expert John Matthews to share some of his insight into this case. And John, do you agree with the early assessments we are getting from some in the law enforcement community this was targeted against immigration officials?
I agree that it's violence. I would like to know, who is it targeted toward? A random active shooter on a rooftop shooting at an ICE facility, shooting into an unmarked van, and he didn't know who was in there, whether it was detainees or officers, or were the prisoners being transferred, meaning they were outside of the van, they were in the open, and they were targets, and were they specifically targeted? So that's what investigators are going to be looking at throughout the day and in the coming days. What type of attack? Because those are two totally different types of criminals. You can have an individual that's mad at ICE, mad at its policies, and shooting at the facility or at vehicles just to do it with the anti-ICE messages on the bullets. That's totally different than a shooter who positions himself on top of a building, knows when detainees are being moved and transferred, knows that there's no secure sally port, and targets specific detainees. So those are two totally different type of crimes, and I can't wait for information to come out so that we know which direction are we going to go with the investigation here.
What did you think of the words anti-ICE written on the bullets? What did you make of the bullets?
Well, again, it could be two different things. It could be somebody that's just mad at ICE and they're upset, like we've seen in some of these past attacks, or it could be somebody that's trying to throw investigators off the trail. For example, if I was targeting a specific detainee basically as an assassination, then one thing I might do is put rhetoric like that on the bullets or in manifestos or posted online to throw investigators off. So two totally different types of scenarios here, and it's going to be interesting to find out as the investigation moves along. Did the shooter have a specific target, or was he randomly shooting into a van, not knowing if officers or detainees were in the van?
Questions we hope to get some answers to. John Matthews, thank you for your insight today. And he addressed an issue that we kind of talked about among ourselves. If you were targeting immigration officials, if that really was your goal with his shooting, anti-ICE, maybe not the four-letter word you would choose to inscribe on the bullets. It's worth waiting to see what comes out of, I think, this continued investigation.
This wasn't a drive-by shooting where someone's just, hey, I'm going to go do something like this. This was a planned event for this person to, either write something on these unspent shell casings, to get in a vehicle, to get to this location, to climb up to the top, and to know that he would have a target at a certain time. Clearly a targeted and planned event here too. That's going to assist law enforcement, I think, in this. If this was a drive-by shooting, it would be a heck of a lot more starting at ground zero than what they have right here.
And again, our sources are saying that all of the people that were shot were detainees, not necessarily law enforcement. And so we do know who the shooter is. My sources are telling me the name of the suspect. At this point, we're not going to release that. We don't know if his next of kin have been notified, but we have reporters, including our investigative journalist, Tanya Iser, also looking into this. We know that he has got some addresses that go back to McKinney and Fairview and Collin County and possibly in another state. And so we are checking all of that out. That's exactly what law enforcement is doing at this time as well, trying to get a better picture. Who is this person? What did he put on social media? Did he even have a social media footprint? What was his motive? And they're going to learn a lot more in the next few hours if they don't already know a lot about this person.
And the concerning thing also is, do you see copycat crimes after this? And that's a concern. Unlike Charlie Kirk, unlike Governor Shapiro and the Wisconsin lawmakers, those were high-profile individuals. This is shooting at detainees at an ICE facility, of which there are many across this state. So that's the other thing law enforcement is looking at. There's no question that protocols have changed now after what happened here just 4 hours ago in Dallas.
Yeah, that would be interesting then to talk to them about what's being done differently at some of
Right.
those
If they would
facilities.
tell you, I mean,
Yeah,
clearly
that's a
this
good
guy,
point.
this
Yeah.
guy knew what was going to happen. So if I'm ICE, I'm probably not going to say exactly what I'm doing differently, but no, I am doing something different.
And it's hard to plan for that because, again, the biggest concern for law enforcement, and has been for years, is the lone wolf, the
Right.
person that's going to be triggered by something, and you don't know who that is or how to predict it.
Certainly one of many topics to continue to delve into as we discuss this morning's shooting. But